Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are plunging into a consumer transparency investigation of PlantIn.
Right.
It's that houseplant identification app. It's been downloaded 25 million times.
An incredible number.
It promises to save your succulents, but we're here to look past the marketing to really scrutinize its value and, more critically, its business model.
Exactly. The reviews are just so split. You see people who enjoy the basic identification, but then there's this huge friction point around the subscription.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to really dissect the engine behind the product and figure out why a simple plant app generates so much outrage over its price.
Okay, let's start there. Let's unpack their core marketing claim. 99% accuracy across 24,000 plant species. I mean, that sounds fantastic, like professional-grade botany.
It does. But, independent testing found a bit of a discrepancy.
Oh.
The comparison studies we looked at actually placed PlantIn's accuracy at 93.8%.
93.8.
Which, isn't terrible for a casual app.
Yeah.
But it landed them in 5th place overall.
Wait a second. Not terrible isn't what 25 million users are signing up for when they hear 99%. That feels like a fundamental disappointment right out of the gate. And the reason for this, as you found, is the engine itself.
This is what's so fascinating. PlantIn doesn't actually build its own identification technology.
They don't.
No, they license it. It's called the KindWise Plant ID API.
So what does that mean?
It's crucial because it means they're effectively white labeling their core function. It's the same underlying AI that dozens of other applications are using.
The same software in different packaging.
Exactly.
This white labeling, then, is the key to understanding the cost. Because if they're licensing a widely available AI, you'd expect a competitive price.
You would think so.
Instead, PlantIn charges significantly more. We're talking weekly subscription fees that can rival streaming services, something like $8 a week.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it just highlights a major value discrepancy. Well, competitors using that same underlying AI model, I'm thinking of Seek by iNaturalist and PlantNet,
Right.
they offer the identification completely free. No subscription required at all.
So why are people paying $8 a week for core technology they can get for free? Is the interface really that much better?
That's the question. And the functionality issues, well, they just pile up from there.
Like the disease diagnosis features.
Exactly. Reviewers found it really unreliable. There were cases where, photos of plants clearly covered in pests like mealybugs were just designated as healthy.
Wow. And what about the advertised botanist consultation?
That's another thing. Reviewers found that expert help requires an additional paywall.
Even for premium subscribers.
Even for them. So you pay the high weekly fee only to hit a second paywall just for the advertised expert feature.
You're subscribing to an empty promise, then.
It seems that way. Which raises the question, if the tech is licensed and the premium features are lacking, how do they keep users?
And that brings us to the most, I think, alarming consumer complaints. The cancellation chaos.
This is where it gets really messy.
Users reported being charged $8 a week even after they tried to cancel during a free trial.
We saw so many reports of this, people receiving cancellation confirmation emails and then still being billed afterward.
And the in-app cancel button, reports say it often does nothing.
Right. It forces users to go directly through third parties like Apple or Google to actually stop the charges.
One reviewer we saw was charged, get this, $197 within just 6 weeks.
It's an incredible amount of money. So the tech is adequate for, basic plant ID. But the friction is that combination of a high weekly price and these reports of deliberately confusing cancellation procedures.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to make an informed decision? PlantIn works okay, but the cost is exceptionally premium for technology you can get cheaply or even for free elsewhere.
I think the final takeaway here is just the crucial importance of checking where an app's core technology is licensed from.
Right.
Are you paying $8 for what is basically a free white label product? And you have to rigorously scrutinize any subscription model that uses weekly pricing and has reports of difficult cancellations.
And a final provocative thought for you. How many other popular apps out there might be white labeling the exact same technology and just charging wildly different prices for the same core function? Keep questioning everything.